The Voice. Is anybody out there? You be the judge.
The exploration of space is the grandest adventure challenging humanity. The universe can surprise and awe us. There's so much more to discover and learn. We explore to understand our place in the universe, to answer questions about its formation.
Today we're going to discuss Bullinger's zodiac and some of the symbols that are on the zodiac we think that should be identified. First of all, this is Virgo. Bullinger began the year at the time of Virgo and Leo, saying that this would be the joining of the zodiac because the Sphinx is the joining of Virgo and Leo. He also showed within the Dendera zodiac a picture of this. And where Virgo was holding on to Leo's tail, being the joining. So he saw within the Egyptian zodiac a premise to show the reason for the Sphinx. In Virgo, she has 3 deacons, and the deacons include Coma, which is the desired son, Centurious, which is the sin offering, and Boots, which is the husbandman. So the idea was that the desired son was going to be the sin offering and come back to be our husband, the husbandman in Boots. So when it says a virgin should be with child, what you're looking at is Virgo and the child she has, which is called Coma and means the desired son. Next, the conflict endured had to do with the scales and the weighing of scales. These are the 3 deacons. For the scales would be the cross, the victim, and the crown. Of course, if you can't bear the cross, you can't wear the crown. And so the next symbol that we wanted to look at would be Scorpio. And Scorpio has 3 deacons, and the deacons of Scorpio include the Centurious. And next to him, wrapped around him, is Serpentarius and also Hercules. And of the child of Virgo, it said, "He will bruise your heel, and you will bruise his head." So what we see is that the heel of Ophiuchus is being bruised by the scorpion. The stinger of the scorpion will sting the heel of Ophiuchus. And the star within the foot of Ophiuchus is called Seph, which is the same word that's used for bruise in Genesis when it says, "You shall bruise his head, and he shall bruise your heel." And the fold-over image of Ophiuchus is Hercules, who is crushing the head of Draco. And the story of Hercules and the story of Ophiuchus both. Next, the picture would be of Sagittarius, are Lyra, Ara, and Draco. And so what we have is this is a picture of Lyra, and Lyra is a lyre with a little eagle behind it. And Ara is the altar. Ara means altar. And Draco is right here. He's the coiled serpent. So he's the coiled serpent within the Bible. Next picture are the goat, and his symbols are Sagitta, which is here, Aquila, which is the eagle here, and Dolphinus, which is this dolphin that's right here. Our next symbol is Aquarius, who is the waterman, and Aquarius's symbols include Pisces, Australis, Pegasus, and Cygnus. And so we see of Aquarius, what we see is the fish. This greater fish here is called Pisces Australis, and it's supposed to be equivalent with death as well. This symbol is supposed to be equivalent to Cetus, which we see here, and it's supposed to be equivalent, an ominous sign, a symbol of death. So we see that Aquarius has Pisces Australis, and then he has Pegasus, which this is the horse, Pegasus. Finally, he has Cygnus, and this is the beautiful swan, okay? So Pegasus is the picture we're talking of the 4th horseman of the apocalypse, and he has death and hell follow after him. We can see the image of this man who's on the horse. The rider on the horse has death. Death is seen within the Pisces Australis, and also hell is seen here within the belly of the whale. Symbol is that of Pisces, and Pisces, the deacons within Pisces, the 3 deacons, are bands, which we see 2 parts of the bands. Andromeda, she's the tide woman, and Cephas, who is the king. And what we notice about the bands is that there are 2 bands coming from the fish, but the foot of Aries is crossing over the 1 band. And the bands are supposed to represent posterity. We see these bands within Revelation 14. The essence of Revelation 14 is the letter Nun, and Nun means fish. And this is a symbol of posterity. We can see the Nun, the fish here, connected to Andromeda, meaning posterity of the slave woman. And as you see, as the cord of the slave, it goes directly to Cetus and its death. But here we see this fish being covered over for death. And here the lamb's foot covers over that. The letter He is applied to the lamb, and you can sort of see a little letter He with an attached foot and extended foot here with the lamb. And the letter He is noted for having an extended foot. So it really does apply to Aries the lamb, who is extending his foot to provide mercy. The idea of the letter He has to do with mercy, and here is the merciful lamb. Our next symbol is Aries, and his symbol and Aries deacons are Perseus, Cetus, and Cassiopeia. In mythology, the story was that Cassiopeia was too vain, and there was a problem with that, and the sea nymphs complained. And so what they did was they placed a picture of Andromeda off the shore, chained to a rock, and the idea was that Cetus the whale was going to come and get her. But Perseus in the story decided that he wasn't going to allow that. He had been promised by the king that if he would go and slay the sea monster, that he would receive Andromeda. Perseus therefore went into the belly of the whale, which is the star called Myra, and was raised up through Pleiades to be the breaker. We can also picture the story of the one man who is traveling, the apparent travel of the Son of Man, who's supposed to come into these areas, and the Son of Man was supposed to travel back. We can also picture the story of the apparent travel of the Son as being the story of this child who was to go according to the path of the sun, traveling all the way around, and finally through the Lamb to the belly of the whale and breaking forth. In Matthew, when he interpreted Emmanuel, he said, his name shall be called Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. And he was speaking of the prophecy of Isaiah, and a lot of people have a lot of problems with that. The Jews say, no, he couldn't have been speaking of Jesus when Isaiah spoke of Emmanuel, because the words that were used were present tense. And Bullinger said, no, okay, the stars are supposed to be signs. In Genesis, God made the stars for signs. Okay, Virgo is a sign of a virgin. In fact, the word Virgo actually is where virgin comes from. And Virgo has a child. So this is the idea of a woman and this desired son being her child.